Merrill Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.
Good morning. It is time to talk to Matthew Dickerson, the Mayor of Dubbo Regional Council. How are you this morning?
Fantastic. Great to be chatting to you and all your listeners.
It is definitely a very busy time in the Dubbo Regional Council area. There is a whole lot of seniors events coming up. Tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Yeah, it is actually funny. Towards Christmas, when there's a deadline, same thing happens at Easter, there's a deadline, so things have got to get finished, things have got to happen. So you actually find it's really busy up towards Christmas. You need Christmas Day to relax, I think. So this week for seniors, we've got 2 morning teas. We've got a morning tea this morning in Wellington, and we've got a morning tea, a seniors Christmas morning tea in Dubbo on Wednesday morning. At both of those, I go along. I love to chat to some of the seniors there. They're out for one of their outings before Christmas, but I also like to recite poetry, so there'll be a few poetry recitals at both of those seniors events.
Oh, that'll be lovely.
I hope so.
And there is also, there was an event not too long ago. The Dubbo Regional Theatre and Convention Centre had its subscription launch.
Yeah, that was really exciting. I love going along to that and seeing what's going to be at the theatre next year. And so you get a bit of a snapshot. You get maybe a 2 or 3 minute preview of some of the shows. They announce the subscription season, how you become a subscriber, what advantages there are. And I'd encourage all your listeners to look at that. 3 shows you've got to commit to become a subscriber. And it's pretty easy to pick out 3 shows, and I won't go through the entire list only of all the shows for next year, but some of the ones that caught my attention. You've got the Umbilical Brothers coming along, very clever, very funny, so they're in February next year. You've got the Sydney Comedy Festival and the Melbourne Comedy Festival are both bringing shows at different times throughout the year next year. So you've got some comedy, if you love your comedy. You've also got some classic things like the Australian Ballet is on tour. So going from one extreme to another, from comedy to ballet, but again, you're getting world-class performers. And that's one of the great things about the theatre that we've got now. We do attract world-class performers there. We've got a local theatre company, Dubbo Theatrical Company, has actually got 2 shows on. They've got Jesus Christ Superstar, as well as 39 Steps, which is a very clever show with a very small cast, so I'm keen to see how that one plays out. And then you've also got some kids shows, a range of kids shows that'll be on throughout the year. So there is something, we hope, for everyone from classic theatre to comedy to kids shows to local productions. Have a look at there's a booklet out with all those shows in it. Also, you can go on the website and look at those shows. But it's not hard to pick out some of those different shows to go along to. And I don't even think about trying to get to the theatre that often, but I end up finding myself getting to probably 6 or 7 shows throughout the year without really trying that hard. So there's some really great shows there. And we love being able to put on these shows for people in the region because it's a lot cheaper to come to someone like Dubbo and go to a show than if you had to go to someone like Sydney or Melbourne to attend some of these shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the program myself right now, and it is just incredible. So, and the best thing about it is, for those who have to travel, is that it's got the details all the way up into November next year, so that if you want to plan ahead a little trip to go and see something, you can do so.
Yeah, that's right. And I find myself, even with one of my businesses, I actually do a little treat for them, usually once a year, where I'll say to them, pick out a show throughout the season, and just as a bit of a reward for good work you're doing, we'll all go along to a show. And so it's a good little bit of team bonding with the whole team there, but it's a really enjoyable night as well, going out and watching some theatre there, and just having that great facility there is fantastic.
It is absolutely marvellous. I've been to a few things there as well, and it is an incredible venue. Now, Christmas lights, there's some about to go up in Wellington, and Dubbo has just lit up as well.
Yeah, Dubbo just lit up on Friday, so that was a good little event. We also, when we did the one in Dubbo on Friday, we had our local heroes as well. So we've picked out a few people in our community that we call local heroes. Just some of those people that are there doing some great work in the community, making things happen in our community without expecting to get paid or without expecting to be in the forefront. So we've actually taken them and put them on in the forefront, and we've put them on flags along Macquarie Street. So when you drive along Macquarie Street now, you'll see some faces of people, and you may think, well, who are those people up there? And they're the people that we're calling our local heroes. So that happened on Friday night when we turned the lights on as well there. And then Wellington, we're turning on the lights in Wellington on the Christmas tree tonight as well. So you do just start to get that bit of a buzz around Christmas, and it's always funny at Christmas time. People are really nice to each other at Christmas time. I don't know why we can't do it through the entire year, but it is great to see people smiling, wishing each other Merry Christmas. It's a really nice time of the year.
And the most wonderful time of the year, as the song goes. And there is an important piece of infrastructure that has been opened in Geary.
Yeah, it's just south or southwest of Geary, probably more accurately, the Terrabella Bridge, and it goes over the Little River. Now, I have joked in the past that the Little River has been poorly named because during some of our flood events, it's been nothing like the Little River. It's been a very big river, but the Terrabella Bridge is one of those old timber bridges, or it used to be one of those old timber bridges that needed replacing, and there's a lot of replacements that have occurred across the state. So this was one of the few ones left. We've only got a couple left now in our local government area. So this has been replaced now. It's been up and operational, but it hasn't been officially opened. So we've got to do that this week. On Wednesday, we're doing that. It's a joint funding project with federal government money, state government money, and local government money. And I do like to see projects like that where all three tiers of government are contributing to an event, to a project, to a piece of infrastructure. So that will be officially open this Wednesday. I will have representatives from all three levels of government there to do the official ribbon cutting.
And the CWA in Dubbo was celebrating the centenary of the organisation.
That is incredible, isn't it, having an organisation going for 100 years? And what's quite incredible about that is that the first branch in New South Wales, first branch in Australia, in fact, was opened in 1922. That was in Crookwell in April. And then by June that same year, Dubbo. So Dubbo was the second branch in the state, second branch in the nation to actually open up. So it was a celebration on Saturday, a high tea we had there for the celebration of the centenary of both New South Wales and of Dubbo, which was quite significant. State President Joy Beams was along, and we met with the Macquarie Group. So there's 14 CWA branches that make up the Macquarie Group. So that was wonderful there. And again, getting to chat to some lovely ladies there and some of the stories they have to tell and just what the CWA has done over the years. It's actually, I did make the comment on Saturday, it's a very agile, very adaptable organisation. You go back a long time ago, they were responsible for the advocating of telephone exchanges. So they take a lot of credit for 13 telephone exchanges being put in the regional areas. Then you had things like behind the scenes war efforts that the CWA was involved with. Then they ran hostels. Then they really drove the government, put hospitals in. Then they did fundraising for things to contribute to the health department, actually to give money to the government rather than the other way around, which is so often the case. They just keep changing and adapting, and you can't be an organisation that's 100 years old without doing that. So the discussion on Saturday was really about the next 100 years and how much the organisation will continue to change and adapt. It's a really incredible organisation.
Absolutely is, and one to be reckoned with. You don't want to be on the other end of a CWA campaign because, bless them, they are wonderful and relentless. Absolutely fantastic to hear all these fantastic things happening around the Dubbo region. Matthew Dickerson, Mayor of the Dubbo Regional Council area, thank you so much for chatting with us.
My pleasure, and I won't say it yet because we've got a couple of weeks before we do another one, but it's getting close to saying Merry Christmas every time we chat, isn't it?
Definitely.
Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickerson from Dubbo Regional Council.